Hello, this is Business Now, reaching you live from iBrand TV News Studio in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up in a moment, the House of Representatives halts allocation of ecological funds to the National Emergency Management Agency, others. The Central Bank of Nigeria imposes 800 million naira fine on 3 banks for violating regulations barring transaction and cryptocurrencies. And President KENYATTA'S successor will require an average of 3.74 billion shillings daily to repay Kenya's mounting debts. And our Dutch government prevent 14 Russian yachts from leaving the country due to sanctions on Russia. Thanks for joining us, and here are some business stories making headlines at this hour. I am Frank Komalape. We'll begin now from the House of Representatives, which has urged the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, to withhold a further allocation of funds from the Ecological Fund to the National Emergency Management Agency, National Agency for the Great Green Wall, Northeast Development Commission, and the National Agricultural Land Development Authority. The allocation is to be withheld pending the outcome of the investigation on the alleged misapplication of the ecological funds. The House consequently mandated its Committee on Ecological Funds to investigate the releases from the Ecological Funds to the National Emergency Management Agency, National Agency for the Great Green Wall, the Northeast Development Commission, and the National Agricultural Land Development Authority in the last 3 years. These resolutions were based on the motion moved by a member of the House, Ibrahim Isiaka, at the plenary on Wednesday. And away from there now, the Senate has passed a bill establishing the Federal University of Transportation in DAURA, Katsina State. The upper legislative chamber passed the bill for third reading after the presentation of a report to that effect by the chairman, Senate Committee on Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, Ahmed Baba Keita. While representing the report on the floor of the Senate on Wednesday, Keita said the university would close the gap in knowledge of the transportation sector. The senator said the university would create capacity and generate job opportunities for Nigerians. According to him, the university, being the first of its kind in the West African sub-region, has the capacity of winning foreign investors to the country. Now, the Minister, Industry, Trade and Investment, Adeni Adebayo, has decried the over $4 billion import bill incurred yearly on textile and apparels, assuring that the government is addressing the challenges facing the cotton industry to create jobs for Nigerians. The minister stated this during a visit by the National Cotton Association of Nigeria in Abuja, stating that the industry has the capacity to transform Nigeria's rural economy and revive the textile and garment industries by creating over 2 million jobs. The revival will also improve internal revenue across the 3 tiers of government, reduce $4.0 import bill incurred on textile and apparel and foreign exchange, and make Nigeria a global player in the sector, according to him. In the 1970s and early 80s, Nigeria was home to Africa's largest textile industry with over 180 textile mills, which employed close to 450,000 people and contributed over 25% of the workforce in the manufacturing sector. Today, most of those factories are no longer operational. According to him, the ones remaining are operating below 20% capacity with a workforce of less than 20,000 people. Adebayo said President Muhammadu Buhari is determined to change the narrative and rewrite the history of Nigeria's struggling cotton, textile and garment sector. The federal government on Wednesday said it was set to roll out the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, second phase in all the 36 states and the Federal Capacity Territory. Capital Territory rather. It stated that under the program, about 90,000 Nigerian farmers and small business owners will get between 50,000 and 300,000 interest-free loans. This implies that the government will give out over 5 billion naira as loans under the scheme. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiq Farouk, disclosed this in a statement issued in Abuja by her mediator, Nneka Nibeze. Farouk said all beneficiaries of JEEP in the second phase shall receive congratulatory and sensitization text messages in the coming days, informing them of their qualification and re-emphasize that the empowerment program was a loan and not a grant. And in the meantime, an analyst has lamented the Central Bank of Nigeria's excessive forex intervention, stating that this denies foreign inflows into the country. Kasimu Garba Krofi, the MD, CEO of APT Securities and Funds Limited, said these on the backdrop of the International Monetary Fund IMF's caution about the possible long-term implications of foreign exchange intervention by central banks confronted with monetary policy challenges. Kofi spoke earlier in the day on IBRAN TV's flagship morning show, Business Breakfast.
CBN intervention, if you look at it today, the official rate is about 418, 415 per dollar. But when you go to the parallel market, you trade between 570 to 580. The differences is very wide enough. And the implication of this, it denies the foreign inflow into the country. Because today, as I'm talking to you, our foreign inflow in the equity market reduced to only 25% in the year 2022, compared to 54% in the year 2015. The same thing when you look at the inflow and the outflow. The inflow as far back as 2017, the foreign inflow portfolio was as high as 64% of our market transaction. Well, the outflow was just mere 36%. Today, as I'm talking to you, the inflow is 46, the outflow is 55, meaning more is taken than more is bringing into the country. And these are the foreign portfolio. Why do they do that? Because they are not satisfied with the exchange rate. Had it been is allowed to exchange at the parallel market, you will see more inflow. And the same thing with the Nigerian diaspora. There was an incentive of 5 naira per dollar. But who will take that? To bring your dollar at 4.18 just to enjoy 5 naira? Well, you are free to sell your dollar to any Nigerian at 5.80. So the government, or the CBN in particular, they have to see that, yes, there is a need for intervention at a particular period, but not all the time.
And now the Central Bank of Nigeria has imposed an 800 million naira fine on 3 deposit money banks in the country for violating regulations barring customers from transacting in cryptocurrencies. According to a Bloomberg report released Wednesday, the 3 banks are Access Bank PLC, Stanbic IBTC, and the United Bank for Africa PLC. The report noted that the penalties were part of efforts by the Apex Bank to ensure that banks implement an order to block trading in cryptocurrencies due to the threat they pose to Nigeria's financial system. Well, you're still watching Business Now, coming to you live from our studios here. And still to come after the break, the International Monetary Fund has explained why dollar scarcity persists in emerging economies, especially sub-Saharan Africa. Well, after the break, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa, looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemeviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemeviv family.
Thank you, Frank. Now we'll bring you some more news stories. The Central Bank of Nigeria has imposed an 800 million naira fine on 3 deposit money banks in the country for violating regulations barring customers from transacting in cryptocurrencies. According to a Bloomberg report released on Wednesday, the 3 banks are Access Bank PLC, Stanbic IBTC, and the United Bank for Africa PLC. The report noted that the penalties were part of efforts by the Apex Bank to ensure that banks implement an order to block trading in cryptocurrency due to the threat they pose to Nigeria's financial system. And now joining me to discuss this is Ambrose Omodion, Chief Research Officer at Invest Data Consultant Limited. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, looking at this recent issue or the penalty by the Central Bank of Nigeria, this is the first time since 2021, after which they already sent or gave out the regulation on cryptocurrency in Nigeria. What are your reactions to this?
Actually, the issues that the regulators are also at watch. After giving a regulation, I want to watch if there's any default for you to just take the right step. What they did is welcome development. It's also tell you that some of these banks are also playing what I call trapped by what trying to do outside of regulation, and that means that as they are going against CBN regulation, that means the banks also is at risk. And what has happened now is going to kind of affect them. One, it shows that they are not loyal or they are not obeying the regulation. Where industry, they are not. Don't forget that anywhere in the world, the banking sector is the engine of the economy, and also it's well regulated. That is why there's confidence in that sector, and that's why most investors also think that because the sector is over-regulated, you can't do things freely, and that's what I think have attracted more confidence. It's a two-way. People like to invest in banking because it's regulated. What I would say is over-regulation. That's why they're not making too much money in that sector. But for me, we balance it. What CBN has done is the right thing they should do to make sure that anybody that goes against regulation should be sanctioned. But also, if you look at the category of banks that were sanctioned, I can tell you that these are banks that are really into doing international business, especially Access Bank, UBA, and Stanbic. These are people that deal with foreign investors. As far as that they are going into currency, for me, let the system or the system or the technology CBN is using to monitor all this, let it open to this bank to see where they have transacted, because the banks will deny that yes, we didn't do such transactions. But CBN will not just overnight. Are the only banks in Nigeria? We have about 12 of them in Nigeria, but these 3 banks were mentioned.
They have their technology, which they use to track those banks.
No, these are only the banks in Nigeria. But for me, it's a recommendation for CBN. That means they should do more. Also, don't forget that this cryptocurrency also kind of discourage many Nigerians, where the youth invest and the elites invest in Nigeria, because since cryptocurrencies come on board, you can see that many Nigerians are looking in that direction. Still, they are getting their finger burnt, but they are not coming back. Like people that invested in the capital market when the market was up and they lost money. Today they are still running out. But most elites in Nigeria and your youth are playing this space, and I've got to play that space. Despite what is happening as we speak now, because yesterday about $52 billion was lost in cryptocurrency. That is why I see our naira just kind of breathed out yesterday. It tells that this has a way of influencing our.
But in spite of all of this, the ban and all of that, we still see Nigeria being the highest country trading in cryptocurrency. That's aside the United States.
Yeah, actually, with what CBN has done, it might be they are not doing it right here. It can go either from Ghana. You can be see you have your identity as Nigeria, but it might not be through our own platform here. That's why CBN is trying to keep the banking sector as the engine of the economy, not to be involved in such activities. Because
so you agree with the ban, the regulations?
Yeah, no. It's the right direction, because not all climate of the world will accept cryptocurrency as a way of settlement. Remember when Russia had issue, they're saying that they can pay for their oil with cryptocurrency. But it's not easy, because a well-regulated financial system, there are ways you can do things. But Nigeria, we see that our CBN is at the top of their game. Yes, we say kudos to them, but these banks that were mentioned should also sit down and see where they are involved, and going forward they should stop it. But personally, we want to encourage Nigeria to invest, but let's encourage our investment here so that we can use to expand. People say we don't have education about our own local market. That is why people are looking the way of cryptocurrency. That is now done on SEC, on NSC, and even the Central Bank, to do more of education on how to trade. Also about 2 weeks ago, a week ago, I saw by CBN saying there are some firms that are giving kind of bogus return, promising investors. No, it's because those investors are not having right education of when to invest. That's why when somebody come and promise you heaven and earth, I'll give you 100%, you quickly run the ball. If you understand how the investment environment works, you won't be carried away with a promise of a return. So
you don't think that this cryptocurrency market or trading is a sustainable alternative for the Nigerian youth, considering the fact that the rate of unemployment is high and a lot of these youths have used that as a fallback system?
No, actually, yes. If you look at, so there are some South Korea as one of the international aspect of Nigeria. I know that their youth are mainly on cryptocurrency to survive, because that is the nature. But for Nigeria, let's encourage our youth to invest in our market. If we're having youth playing the market, we'll have more fun. Companies will come and raise money, they will expand their business, they employ more Nigerians.
And FDIs will increase.
We employ more Nigerians. Let's put the money back here. Even the elites that are playing the cryptocurrency, let them put back in Nigeria. Then companies can come and raise funds, they expand their business. That's how we grow economy. You don't put your fund out. They were saying that the politicians are taking our money away to go and invest in another country. Yes, with the youth that are kind of no job, also using our little we have to invest currency in another. Let's try and understand how the market works here in Nigeria and play it. That is where it should be.
But aside this penalty that the Central Bank of Nigeria has imposed on these banks, what other methods do you think they can use to stop or to reduce the trading of this cryptocurrency? Because if you look at the fact that they already banned or regulated the cryptocurrency trading by imposing the fines on the banks, people are still trading in cryptocurrency. They use the peer-to-peer, system and all manner of system. They've found alternatives to still continue trading.
Fine.
So what other measures can be
fine, I agree with you, but as regulator, what CBN has done is they are in order. There is enough for them to take their regulation to another step, to move forward again. Even to every company's individual that are involved, they know how to track them. Because the less you are not wiring it away from.
But yes, the question is, do you think that is enough to stop Nigerians or to make Nigerians lose interest in the crypto? Because reports even showed that the e-Naira came out and a lot of Nigerians were showing interest at the initial stage, and then later on the Bitcoin cryptocurrency took over, and then Nigerians lost interest in the e-Naira that was introduced by the CBN and then moved on to cryptocurrency. So it looks like the interest never waned.
Yeah, for me, let's also, as you just said, let the Central Bank look at the e-Naira and see how they can fine-tune it and become more attractive for Nigerians to work. E-Naira for me is not where you go and do investment the way they do cryptocurrency. That is not the purpose of e-Naira. That is no purpose for e-Naira. For me, if CBN really want to maintain the kind of checkmate this, all they do is let them put machinery in place and encourage local investment by kind of incentive. Not like what they said that, if you are exporting goods, there are some, or you are bringing your dollar back to Nigeria, there are some kind of incentive they are giving to. Let's do the same. Yeah, let's do the same thing to allow our youths that are, even the elite that has money, to invest in Nigeria economy. Also, it is not done on CBN, because let me tell you, if your economy is not doing well, people are afraid to invest in the economy. But if they see it, a plan where we are going, and economy is now have maintained this recovery we have seen from 2020 to date, and maintain it, to start attracting Nigeria to play. Because I see that in the last 2 years, this market will play, Nigeria local market have returned a lot of return for Nigerians, and billionaires have been created within this period. If you want to invest wisely, it's education that we need. That's why SEC, NSC and central banks should go out and do education. Education does not mean that you want to go and take them to CIS or no. Take state and academy where the six political zone are giving education about investment. That will, when you know, like people are saying they won't go into Ponzi scheme. It is when there's not time that you go to Ponzi. If you understand how to play the equity market, you can go to Ponzi scheme. Don't do the same thing in cryptocurrency. If you understand how to play locally and make money, if that all this regulation CBN is putting is kind of discourage them, and you understand why they're doing it, you can go into playing cryptocurrency. But if they're still because it's your money.
So in other words, a sustainable alternative also has to be created. Yeah,
that means you have to educate Nigeria why they should invest in Nigeria, and also let our market also return, give them good return. That's it. So because they are also losing money in cryptocurrency, but they are not complaining. But if they're losing money in Nigeria, all of them will be complaining. They are losing money in cryptocurrency. I tell you, many Nigerians are getting African bought in cryptocurrency, but they are not complaining.
So these 3 banks that have been imposed or that have been fined, what do you think the impact would be on investors or on the economy generally?
Actually, if you look at the fine, for me, 800 million is for the banks. There is no money. 3 of them, there is no money, but only that it's a sign that the others that don't look the way of this, and these ones will have to be checkmate, and more strategy or more regulation should be in place to make sure that this checkmate. That is why I see it.
So it has no impact whatsoever.
No. This 800 million for me that
it's chicken change.
If we are to be advanced, the way shareholders who put the management of their companies into question and ask say the Access Bank or UBA or something, why are you wasting our money? Because if there's regulation, why must you pay fine? You can see that most of the listed companies, even the banks, have become more corporate inclined, because if you don't release the result at the stipulated date, you pay fine. Before that, you have to release the result on time.
All right, thank you so much, Ambrose Amodio, Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consultant Limited. Thank you so much for the instructive thoughts this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, more news stories. Please stay with us.